We got to talk Michigan recruiting. Exciting win over the weekend, 27-24 over USC, a statement victory for the Wolverines. And it's a statement because they had some prime recruiting targets on campus. Linebacker Nathaniel Boang, he was there, and now we know he's coming down to a decision, and it's a heavy hitter. Texas, USC, Notre Dame involved here. What are you hearing? Do you think that Michigan did enough this weekend to land him?
Boateng, I could certainly see him in Michigan's recruiting class. I think his best visits are when he comes to Ann Arbor. He said as much for his official visit. And then on this trip to Michigan, you see video of him standing on the 50-yard line inside the big house, turning around, soaking and playing in front of that potential atmosphere. He sees a need to play in year one in that hard-hitting defense that Coach Wink and company have. He said the environment was electric. He said his family loved it. He said every time he comes, Michigan keeps leaving good impressions on him. He knows he'll be developed on and off the field there. And I talked to Kanoa Winston, committed to Michigan. He said that Nathaniel Boateng was hyped up after the game ended and said, I feel like this was the perfect game to come see what Michigan football is all about. Hard-nosed, gritty football. Michigan definitely, if they're not at the top of the list, they're near the top of the list. He's going to visit Notre Dame and Texas, continue through his process. But every time he visits Michigan, I think he can see himself in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I've got to imagine that the impression that game left on a prospect like Boateng, like you said, just standing at the 50, just soaking it in. I mean, those are atmospheres that you don't forget about quickly. So speaking of making a big impression, there were some key 2026 recruits on campus. Who'd you talk to?
Well, I talked to just about everybody, but let's focus on the offensive line. Malachi Lee from Honolulu, Hawaii, returned. He's one of Michigan's top targets on the board, regardless of position. He said his weekend there was definitely worth the long plane ride, called the coaching staff top tier, said they felt welcome, and seeing the big win was something he'll never forget. Said the energy was crazy, and it's going to be really hard to top this experience. Oregon, USC, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, some of the programs that are definitely going to try and top that experience. Tyler Merrill is a four-star offensive line recruit. They're battling Notre Dame and Notre Dame and Penn State on. Michigan is certainly one of the front runners there. I could see Michigan ultimately landing Zayden Krempin from Prosper, Texas. Brett Koleje, another from IMG Academy that had a fantastic experience. Michigan's going to recruit the O-line at a high level year in and year out, and they're doing great with those guys. And then they get a couple commits back, guys like Andrew Olish, the number 3 tight end in the country. It was his first game at the Big House. There's some other schools working hard to try and flip Andrew Olish late, Notre Dame being one of them. But for him to feel that environment, potentially see himself playing in games like that at Michigan was big, and he had a fabulous time.
All right. Michigan fans, talk to us after that game. How you guys feeling about recruiting? What do you think about Boateng? Let us know. Comment section below.